The FlairBar.com show. We are back. I'm your host, Ben Rose. Excited, sitting next to me, it is the world famous Mr. Philip Duff. How are you doing?
I'm really good.
Now, this is the first time I've heard so much about you, and even on the flight out here and everything, and back from our good old friend Brian Lucas.
Of course. If only Brian was here.
I know. I wish he'd come and join us. He never does my show.
He's one of those corporate guys
now.
Yeah.
But they're telling me all this stuff about Philip Duff. I get to meet you, and now I'm talking to you. I noticed you got a New Orleans accent.
No, I'm really
Where's
into all
that
this.
accent from?
I'm into all this psychology and manipulation, and even these days, without realizing it so very much, I do tend to mirror the people I'm with. And an attractive, charming young man like you, well, I tend to mirror that lovely twang you have.
I don't know what it is, and because the whole trip, I'm like, man, these guys, they got these accents. I need to get an accent. I think that'll push me over. But I want to talk about what exactly. You're an old friend of FlairBar.com. I know you wrote a couple articles. Some people know. A lot of people know you used to be a Flair bartender, right? Back in the day, you haven't lost that feel, though.
You never lose your working Flair.
Never. But what is Philip Duff doing right now?
Well, a load of things.
Other than sitting here drinking with me.
And that's a cue if ever I heard one. Cheers.
Yeah. You like how I set that up?
No,
that
was
sweet. My boss lets you drink.
Yeah. No, I'm one of those people who like the whole traveling circuit. I travel the world. I love to talk about drinks and cocktails and beverage management and bar psychology, and really all the things that other people don't talk about at bar shows. I never like to follow the herd, and in line with that, I also own a bar in Amsterdam, Door 74, a little speakeasy place. Nice
so
drinks.
if ever out in Amsterdam, it's called Door 74.
That's the one.
Make sure you go check that out if you're ever in Amsterdam. You might not be able to get in, from what I heard. I heard it's really
a nightmare
popular.
to get. It's a nightmare for me to get in. I have to make reservations at my own bar, and I don't always get in.
we might have to bring the cameras out there.
It would be a fine pleasure. It really would.
See if we'll get that. I'll talk to my boss, see if we get that in our budget. Now, websites that people could find out more. They're very intrigued of what Philip Duff is doing on all your websites. What are the list of them that they could find things out of?
Well, there's my own website, liquidsolutions.org. It's terrible. It hasn't been updated in about a decade. But the most useful thing is my phone number. It's off. It does have some cool things in it, but you'll find me that way. There's a website for my bar.
Okay.
But I'd rather you not look at it. I'd rather you just called me or Googled me and found my phone number somewhere. I said, hey, I'm going to come by and look after you. Because I have a feeling the websites for bars, you should actually get people to go to the bars.
Yeah.
Instead of saying, oh, look at the website and this or that, the other thing. And there's a very cool project I'm involved in.
Okay.
It's just launching.
Okay.
But it's a global bartender contest, and we've got such a nice structure to it. The winners get to come, the finalists only, get to come to Cognac in Paris for a week of unique experiences, and the winner scores $5,000 and a trip around the world to the gin capitals of the world. This is a very, very cool thing.
I like the sound of this. If people want to know more about it, how can they find that out?
It's the French gin G-Vine, so it's G-Vine.com. It's the gin connoisseur program. It hasn't. I think it went online the other day, but I'm telling cool people like yourselves, the good people at FlairBar.com, because this is the industry and these are the people that want it.
Me cool. Go ahead. So go ahead.
And that's it. What's going to happen is you'll get great experiences, lectures from master distillers, but also tests. And part of the final exam, if you like, is you'll actually run a bar at a winter carnival in Paris. Which is, Paris is kind of nice.
Yeah,
Paris is not Paris.
Paris
is all right.
Not Paris Hilton. But
Indeed, no.
Paris, right?
No, not everybody's been to one Paris, but it seems a lot of people have been to the other.
Thank God we're not on national TV yet.
We'd never make it on
We'll never make it there. Now, this is exactly why I'm enjoying sitting down talking to you. And I've talked about this with Tony was in our studios earlier and everything. I've been going.
Was that Tony Abu Ghanem?
Yes.
Oh, what a cool guy.
Did you know that's what Tag
stands for? I think that's his gang name.
I think so. Would that be a Crip or a Blood man? I don't know. But I got to talk to him and sit down talking to you, getting to know you on a personal level. The way your passion for these seminars, I remember the first seminar I sat in, and I was like, they were told me, oh, it's a Philip Duff seminar. And you said something right there in the seminar, you're like, don't want to be controversial. But you are, and I love it about it. You throw out those little things and everything. Where do you get that feel, or you think that that's a need in what we're doing right now, is to be controversial for people to look from different sides of the spectrum?
There is. I'll be brutal and say there's too much drinks industry money now in the business, because before you'd be a bartender, and then you'd be an owner, and then you might write a book and travel and all. But what's happening now is bartenders are going straight into being employed by enormous liquor companies, and they're great bartenders with fantastic skills. But of course, you know, you can't shit where you eat, and they aren't controversial. A friend of mine in one of my seminars last year said, on the first day, I don't want to be controversial. It's the first day. I still want you to come to my other seminars. I thought that was sad, but the best story is one of my mother. Bless her. When she raised me, I was an extremely tiresome child. I'm a tiresome adult. But whenever she was really mad with me, she'd say, Philip Duff, you are contrary. And the best example was a European one. You ever had salt and vinegar crisps?
I don't know if I have.
It's a culinary delight that would open the doors to you.
Okay.
It's what we eat over there, you know, with our outdoor toilets and our outdated money and all that. And
only here on the show.
Only on flairbar.com. And I would love to have that flavour on my French fries. So I get French fries and I would cover them in vinegar and coat them in salt. And my mother would see me putting on all that vinegar and on and on and on and on and on. And she'd say, Philip, if you keep putting on all that vinegar, and she'd be trying to, you know, put me off this, you'll turn into a vampire. Now, when I was 11, and to this day, being a vampire was just about the coolest thing in the world. So, like, what? It only takes vinegar? Are you kidding me? Give me that bottle. Like that. Right. And that informs how I do seminars. I always try to look at the things that aren't being said. No one's talking about beverage management, so I talk about it. Nobody was talking, everyone's talking about the drinks and, oh, this cocktail, this bitters and all that. So I've just done a seminar, my favorite one, on psychology.
Okay. And
choice architecture and manipulation. So I try to think about the bartender out there, the consumer out there, who's not hearing what they should. I want to be like the investment advisor who says, hey, you don't need to be in funds, you need to be in exchange-traded equities. Well, what? I never heard of that. Yeah, but this is where you should be. I am that person, I hope. Your honest broker.
Now, there's another question I want to ask you. I actually had a chance to ask Tobin this question a little while ago.
Is that the guy who used to be Toby Ellis?
Yes. All right. So you know exactly who I'm talking about.
I do.
Now, you being an old Flair bartender, and I have a question, and if you don't want to answer it, you don't have to answer it. But I have a question. There's Flair bartenders, there's mixologists, there's chefs. For some reason, it's like the Flair bartenders are like, I'm not a mixologist. Mixologists are like, well, you're Flair bartender, you're not a mixologist. And Toby brought up a good point, and now I want to ask your view. I don't see why you can't all meet in the middle. And at the end of the day, we were talking about you're still a bartender, you're still a customer service. What, in your opinion, can we do to get everybody else together? I know these events do it, but there still has to be more. You know, walking around the event, you know, you still kind of got a little, you know, some of the chefs are walking around like their stuff don't sink. But at the end of the day, we are here for the customer. What is your view on that, and how do you feel about it? Same way as Toby from being an old Flair bartender, because you've kind of hit all the circles.
Yeah, no, definitely. I couldn't agree more. I will say this about chefs, though. Chefs are in production. You know, they don't really come out and work the room and things like that. So whether you're a mixologist or Flair bartender, you are then also a host, no matter what. There was this religious schism between the Flair bartenders and the mixologists, and you can date it to precise occurrences and all that. And Flair bartenders have so much to bring to the party. They've got pleasure, but they've also got humility. Everyone knows you shouldn't drop the shaker. But how many people have the balls to go to Death and Company or something and taste a cocktail? That cocktail sucks. It really does. Nobody dares to do that, even quite advanced bartenders. So mixologists, bit of a free ride. I've done all that for a simple reason. Money. I became a Flair bartender because you got laid the most and you earned the most money. There's no other reason. And I transitioned into mixology because that was the flavour of the day, and it is. All the people at my level, certainly the Europeans and my age, like Tony, I'm 24, were ex-Flair bartenders. We're all ex-Fridays, ex-Planet, me, Wayne Collins, Jason Crawley, and the ones who weren't didn't make the grade back in the day. So to me, Flair bartending is always about making the grade and excelling. And you'll notice that the people who've made the grade, like the bartender formerly known as Tobin, are excellent. They were excellent Flair bartenders. They still are. They are excellent mixologists and consultants. So you follow the money and bring your passion to it. It'll be, if you define yourself and you look for a label, I can't imagine you'll ever really be happy.